The love that defied expectations. Our unconventional romance. The first time I saw Elena, she was barefoot on the rooftop of our office building, her arms stretched out like she could catch the wind. It was the last place I expected to find the new senior analyst, especially since our company wasn't exactly the type that encouraged poetic rebellion. But there she was, grinning at the city skyline like she had a secret no one else knew. I should have walked away. I should have minded my own business, just like I always did. But something about her may be the way. She didn't seem to care what anyone thought drew me in. You know, HR probably wouldn't love this, I said, stepping onto the rooftop. She turned, her eyes alight with mischief. HR wouldn't love a lot of things about me. I laughed despite myself. That was the beginning. A romance no one saw coming. Elena and I were opposites in every way. She was the wildfire impulsive, unpredictable, living moment to moment. I was the blueprint structured, logical, thriving on predictability. She sketched on meeting notes. I took meticulous bullet points. She left work exactly at 5 p.m. to chase the sunset. I stayed late, ensuring every spreadsheet was perfect. So when we started spending time together, it confused everyone, including ourselves. At first, it was little things. Coffee breaks where she'd convince me to try something new instead of my usual black coffee. Late night texts filled with bizarre hypotheticals. If we were the last people on Earth, would you still wear that awful tie? She pulled me into her world, and for reasons I couldn't explain, I let her. And then, one evening, everything changed, breaking all the rules. It was a company gala, the kind where people pretended to enjoy themselves while secretly competing for promotions. Elena showed up in a blood-red dress, looking completely out of place and absolutely stunning. She made snide comments about the CEO's speech under her breath, and I, rigid, responsible me, laughed so hard I nearly spilled my drink. Then, without warning, she grabbed my hand. "Let's leave," she whispered. "Are you serious?" I asked. She grinned. "Always." I should have said no, but for the first time in my life, I didn't overthink. I let her lead me out, past the stunned faces of our colleagues, onto the rain-slicked streets. We ended up in a late-night diner, eating pancakes at 1 a.m., laughing like we were in on a joke the world didn't understand. And that's when she asked, "Why do you always play it safe, Nathan?" I stared at her, the woman who had turned my world upside down in the best way possible. "Because someone has to." She shook her head. "That's not a real answer." I knew she was right, but I didn't know how to be anything other than what I'd always been, the unraveling. Falling for Elena was like free-falling without a parachute. It was thrilling, terrifying, and entirely out of my control. But as much as I loved her unpredictability, it also scared me. She was the kind of person who could pick up and leave at a moment's notice, who thrived on change while I clung to stability. I kept waiting for the moment she'd get bored of me, of my structured life, my need for plans. That moment nearly came 6 months in. One night, she showed up at my apartment, barefoot again, her hair damp from the rain. "I got a job offer," she said, voice tinged with hesitation, "in Barcelona." The air left my lungs. Oh, I haven't said yes yet? I knew what she was waiting for, a reason to stay. But how could I ask her to? She wasn't meant to be caged. So I forced a smile. "That's amazing." She searched my face. "That's all you're going to say?" I wanted to tell her I loved her, that I couldn't imagine my days without her unpredictability, her wild laughter. But I was still the man who played it safe. She left that night without an answer, the choice that changed everything. For days, I convinced myself that letting her go was the right thing, that we were too different, that love wasn't enough. Then, a week later, I found myself on the office rooftop, standing in the exact spot she had months ago, and I realized something. Maybe I didn't need to change everything about myself to be with her. Maybe I just needed to take one risk. That evening, I bought a ticket to Barcelona. When I showed up at her doorstep, her eyes widened in shock. "What are you doing here?" I exhaled sharply. Taking a risk. And for the first time in my life, I finally understood why she loved the wind. Epilogue: love on our terms. Elena didn't stay in Barcelona forever. We didn't settle down in a house with a white picket fence. Our love never fit the mold. Instead, we traveled, we fought, we laughed. She pushed me outside my comfort zone, and I grounded her when she needed it. People didn't understand us. Some still don't. But love doesn't always have to make sense. Sometimes, it just has to be real.